We are here celebrating Christmas, so I just want to tell you a short story of how we used to celebrate Christmas when we were back home in Nigeria, and that is why I really miss the African Christmas celebration. When we were kids growing up in Nigeria, Christmas is the only period where we have new clothes. So if you live in that situation, you know you can't wait for that period. You can't wait for that Christmas. That is why Christmas was fun. Christmas was the best thing that can happen to us because that is the only period of the year where you eat meat to your satisfaction. Like you eat meat like no any other thing. And then you have your new clothes on. You won't have another one until next Christmas. So imagine. So those period of Christmas, why it's fun for us. Our parents, let me tell you how it's organized. Normally, parents usually buy clothes between June and August. So they will buy oversized clothes for you because they know, children grow fast. Like every month you change. So they will buy an oversized clothes for you, like in June, July, August. But I remember vividly well, like I will start counting Christmas from August because I count weekly. So from August is like August, September, October, November, December. So I say, okay, 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. And then I give my, so I just minus weekly until Christmas. That is why I used to. And then normally your shoes, they it's always an oversized shoe, that one that you will put on, and then sometimes you will use it maybe next year before your leg will fit in because it's too big. It was interesting. So we can't wait for that period. And the fun of that Christmas, then there were Muslim friends. So we used to live like in an area where you see your neighbors are Muslims, you are a Christian, and then we share things in common. Unfortunately, we had the problem of Islamists, and they bring the division, the confusion, and then people migrate. Christians move to Christian majority. So that is how we divide ourselves because of our stupidity. Let me just say it. But before then, it was fun. You cook on that day, like the week, Christmas week. What we normally do is normally 10 to 15 or 20, sometimes parents, we gather money to buy a big cow that will be slaughtered 2 days before Christmas. The meat will be divided equally to all the people that paid. And then some that have their own money buy their own chicken or sheep, goats, depends. But majority of the family put money together to buy a cow, and then the meat will be divided, take home, we wash, and then they buy the flour, the eggs, milk, and then butter you use to make the chin chin. Oh, that chin chin is something that lasts months. Like my parents will do a lot of chin chin, you understand? Because these are just like the biscuits. But then the way they do it, they mix on the ingredients, you mix them. Like it is our own responsibility, the boys, to mix those things because it needs a lot of energy. Wash your hands, then begin mix little by little. They keep putting the eggs, then the burro, the butter, and then they put the milk, the sugar. You keep mix, before you know it, it dense, and then you mix until it's ready. And then you start, after it's ready, you keep it for some minutes or some little time. Then you start taking a piece of it, you roll, you put on the table. If everything you cut, you slice, you cut it into tiny pieces, and then you put everything, while the mother and then the daughters, Moses, right, keep doing the frying and stuff. It was fun. This chin chin will be eaten till the end of January. Like if you have it a lot, parents will like give everybody. My mom used to share, everybody will have his own share. So if you finish your own, that's your own problem. So you go and hide your own once in a while, you go pick some, eat with your friends and stuff. Wow, it was fun, really. These are things like when you remember those things, you just wish to be kids again. And then you're like a week to Christmas, they'll bring out the new clothes they bought for you to wash everything, iron it, and then you'll be showing your friends through the window, like, look at my new clothes. You understand? No, it was fun. You just go out with friends. And then one night, Mama Mia, another beautiful things that we used to do on those period that is no more today was we call it in Hausa, um that like it's going round, by midnight. You go to church normally on 24th, like from 10. Some people 9, but it's always from 10 and 10 p.m. You go to church, do the normal service, more of praise and worship, a little prayer, and then testimonies. And then by 12 midnight, it will be that joy. Like people will singing, dancing, we have seen Christmas. And then after that, after the prayer, everything, people will go, and then the youths will gather, and then tribal groups will gather, and then people will start going around visiting houses. Mama mia, that was, you go from like night. We do these things until like 5 a.m. You'll be going around from house to house of your members. And then where we live, some people will live in Kabbalah, some in Barracks, some in Marafa. It like areas like kilometers, but you go around, you visit family, you go, you pray, you sing. That night, some of the parents will donate money to the youth group. Like it's fun. You just go around until early morning, everybody go back home. And you know what? By 7, you'll be up again because our parents wake up around 6 and start cooking. They will cook the rice early morning. The stew is done and the frying a day earlier, but the rice is cooked early morning. And at that early morning, they start putting them inside the plate so you can take to the neighbors, most especially the Muslim neighbors. You give them more with the meat. So what we do is everybody wants to, they are a family, if you take it to them, they give you some gifts, which is always money. So you'll be choosing like, no, this family, I'm the one taking because you sure if you take it there, they give you something. So you take the food. After you finish sharing the food, you come back, you eat, then you prepare to go back to church by 9 again. Now, Christmas in Africa was fun. Honestly, today living in the West, like okay, everywhere is dull, people are a little bit inside. Nah, Christmas. When you talk of Christmas in Africa, it's not indoor. You just indoor to eat. Immediately you finish, you just see children with their color clothes, their eyeglass, all walking around, visiting neighbors. They just go around, knock to a neighbor, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, how are you? You give them some things. So mostly you give them some money. That is how they walk around all day until when it's getting dark, then they start coming back home. Children as young as 2, 3, 4, they will gather themselves. Maybe they're like from the 2 or 3 with someone who is around 5, 7. They will be going out around the neighbor. It's not like they go kilometers, just go around the area, the neighbors, people they know. Nah, it was fun, really. These are things that anytime I think of those things, you miss your childhood. You just miss those moments. Like now, the responsibility lies on you. So it's heavy. You don't even think of the Christmas like you used to because then they used to buy it for you. Now you are the one buying. So the Christmas is like, can't wait for Christmas to pass because you are spending. But then that honestly, Christmas was fun. Christmas is something you will like it to repeat himself like every day. But the thing is, because it's once a year, the expectation, the joy is always there. And I miss those moments. I miss those moments. And the sad part of these things, when you look behind, then you'll remember the people that were no more. That is like the people you grew up together, parents, friends, brothers or sisters, like you lost so many people. Thank God for life, man. Thank God for life. Because you go back 20 years back, 30 years back, and you start to like, this person is no more, this person is no more, your mom is no more, your sister is no more, your friends. And then you're like, God, thank you. It's a privilege to be alive. It's indeed a privilege, honestly. But we thank God for life. That is Christmas. So when I said Christmas, that is Christmas. God bless our days.